Hello and welcome. We are live here at the Alpha Impact headquarters. Let me just get set up. Welcome to those who are just dialing in. I'm just adjusting my cables. Got far too many cables. There we go. Welcome. Hello, everyone. Hello and welcome. Great to have everyone here. We're very excited to be here. It is Monday. It is the 28th of June. Beautiful week. I'm not muted. My video's on. We're ready to go. So we're going to be diving straight into it this evening. I'm just going to go and message our page to let everyone know we are on. Fantastic. Welcome to everyone who has tuned in. We're thinking of doing an interview later in the week. So someone else from the team, Ariel, who you might have seen, will be dialed in. So we will jump straight into it. Let's share the screen and take a look at the market action over the weekend. All right, share screen. Okay, so the impact price. So what we're seeing here is obviously it's been brutal out there in the markets, but starting to see some movement. So could be a bottom. We're not sure, but Bitcoin it looks like has been. Let's just take a look on what's happened here over the last few hours. So this is the 4-hour chart. We are we've seen some slight recovery, and so we're still waiting to see if this breakout is sustained. And for those that are just joining, welcome to the Alpha Impact. I wouldn't call it a podcast, but it's an AMA. So today's Monday, the 28th of June. The Bitcoin price today is 33,990, or just at this moment. So this is the 4-hourly chart. We're still compressing into this wedge. It looks to me to be reasonably positive. There's some definite upward pressure here. So let's take a look at shorter time frame. Yeah, we're just, you can see we've come down and we're retesting. So let's take a look at Ethereum on good old Bitstamp. So we'll have to zoom out here. It's the 2-hour chart. So you can see we're just coming up to the top of that support line. So let's see if it holds. We have had on Ethereum, this is pretty much correlated to BTC. So we've had this support line that we can draw across here at 1726. I'll just go back to the channel and okay, no questions so far. So this is what we're looking at for Ethereum. We're expecting obviously a breakout. I wanted to expand a little bit by looking at on-chain data. So we've spent a little bit of time talking about the charts and about Bitcoin and about Ethereum, but I wanted to just go into some of the on-chain data that we're looking at. So this is this is the exchange net position change for Bitcoin. So what we tend to see at the top of the market, people are sending their token. Well, green is tokens being sent to the exchange. In red is tokens being sent away from the exchange. So you can see this takes us back all the way through. And we can go further back to this. But in any event, what we're seeing here, oh, computer's a bit slow. Yeah, so what we see here is that in in a manic market, we're seeing rising prices. We're seeing people send them to the exchange, obviously to sell. And in consolidation periods, we see the inverse. We see these red lines heading down. So at this point, let's just include the most recent data. And let's shorten the time frame a little bit. I just want to zoom in a little bit on this most recent period. So you can see here, people have been accumulating. It's only here that there's actually been crypto that's been sent to the exchange. So this actually represents a fairly small amount of crypto inflows into the exchange. Whereas if you look at 2017, this is, I mean, a lot of people would call this right here the start of that bull cycle, and you see wave after wave after wave after wave after wave going into the exchange. Here, we've seen really net accumulation since kind of I mean March last year. So we should go back a bit further to really expand on previous time cycles where we've kind of seen this type of action. And so the points where we see extensive outflows from exchanges is really here. So this is 2016. This is just when I was getting into the market. This was not a, I mean, this was a consolidation phase leading up to a big bull move, but you've seen a lot of outflows here. And then of course, then you start to see the inflows as the market tends to get bullish. So I would be surprised if the bull market is over, because look at all this outflow, right? There's so much of it, and very, very little has actually come into the exchange. So I would be very surprised if that was the end of the market. So this is just one of the on-chain metrics that we're looking at. Let's keep looking. So this is the exchange net position. So this is the change between inflows and outflows. So this I think is also very interesting, and this is obviously connected to the last one I've just been showing. So here you can see a net increase all through. See, this is, let's go a bit further back. You could see so this is a bit of a weird time period in here, 2013. The exchange popularity, I mean, exchanges weren't really around when you go back to kind of 2012. So that's why you see so little. Just starting to get going in 2013. And then obviously you had the Mt. Gox collapse. That was the biggest exchange at that time. So in any event, we've seen increasing exchange amounts until about, where did we get to? Sometime in 2016. And at that time, we started seeing a decline. That was an accumulation period. And then we increased all the way through really until it's never really slowed down until very recently last year. And then people have been moving Bitcoin away from exchanges until very recently. But take a look at the sharp increase here. So let's just look at 2017. We were looking at what? 947,000 BTC on exchange. And then this climbs until the top of the market, we go to 1.8. So it's roughly a doubling of in that cycle. Here, I mean, if you go from here, let's go from bottom to top. So we're looking at 31,000 BTC on the exchange, and then we go to 300. So this is a 10 times increase. This is a 2 times increase. Here we've seen what? This is 2.5 million BTC. I mean, it's nothing. It's a 2.49 million BTC increase to what? 2.57. So obviously there's a difference. It's 10x here, 2x here, but this is nothing. This is like, I mean, percentage wise, this is like 4%. So I would be very surprised if the top was in on that one. Okay, let's keep looking. Let me know if you have any questions, by the way, guys. I've got a window open so I can see the questions as we go. Okay, this is the Tether percent supply in smart contracts. Now, this is really just from the kind of start of the bull run. There's not a lot of data historically, so this is all we're going to be looking at. Yeah, see, this is from the start of time. So Tether and smart contracts. Obviously, Tether didn't really exist back then, so it was all in a smart contract, and then it began to be slowly released. So over time, what we're seeing is a slow increase in Tether and smart contracts, but let's just zoom in a little bit. I think it's always good to take a look at this stuff. Okay, let's go to January. I'll just go back to the chat. Okay, so we're still good. Oops, all right, wrong one. So what we've seen is, keep in mind, this last year is kind of the DeFi boom, Tether being locked in smart contracts. This is places like Aave, Gnosis, anywhere that you can lock Tether in a smart contract, either as collateral for a loan, although I don't know why you'd collateralize Tether, but what we're seeing is you should look at this line like an expression of the amount of Tether that's being out there used, put to work in DeFi. So you can see here, we actually decreased. This is like DeFi summer, September, and then January 21. So this period actually corresponds to an increase in the price of BTC. BTC has obviously increased during this time as well. So we're actually seeing that it's, what percentage are we here now? 19%. So this is a record high. We've never had this level of, except for the very beginning of Tether, we've never had this level of Tether locked in smart contracts. So what that shows me here is that people are still aping into things, that Tether is still a popular currency to be used, circulating supply. Let's look at that one as well. And you can see here a bit of a plateau, but that actual Tether is being put to work. So that's one other indicator. So let's also take a look at the net exchange position for Tether. So this goes back all the way to January 2020. So let's just go back one more. This actually doesn't go back very far. All right. Computer's a bit slow here. Okay, so what we are now seeing compared to the norm is, and keep in mind, this price is actually not the BTC price. So if you were to overlay Bitcoin, Bitcoin would be coming down. This would be a bottom. This is when you see Tether going down in price. That's when Tether is kind of trading at a discount. In other words, so many people want Tether at this moment in time. There's actually not enough Tether around. That's what you see there. But in any event, you're actually seeing now the Tether exchange balance is higher. And so that reflects to me, let's just shorten this and zoom in a little bit. Okay, so we've seen a lot of Tether being moved off exchange, and then only now it's just kind of coming back. So we saw this in March. People are sending Tether to the exchange, anticipating better times. So when I see green, I see an anticipation of better times ahead. We saw that in February as well. There was a bit of a dip in the price as well for other assets. Okay, let's keep going. This is the short-term holder net unrealized profit. So basically, if this is in the green, that means that a higher proportion of people who have been holding Ethereum for less than 155 days are in a profit. And then when it's red, that is obviously those people are at a loss. So this actually goes back one market cycle. So you could see, actually this is pretty useful. When we get into the green, you see a big correction. So look at the green at the top, and then you see a big decline in the price from, where do we get to? From 12 down to 7. Then we get to a bit of a flag here from 341 down to, what was it, 190. Again here, this is obviously the peak of 2018. This was 1400. And then we went all the way down. Where did we get to? $90. And then, of course, in March 2020, how did we get to? $110. So interestingly, every previous cycle we've had at a top, and even these are just localized tops, these aren't even cycle tops, we've seen this line get into the green. Here, we didn't even get close. So I would be very surprised, again, if this was the top of the market, just based on that. All right, let's look at the next one. That's the same chart. Okay, so let's go back to this. Better late than never. Hi guys. Hi Tom Jessup. Hold on. Oh, you can't see my screen. Gosh. Okay, I suck. Okay, this is the Bitcoin exchange net position. I'll just go through these again. I think we've had several people just tune in. So thank you everyone for staying with us. So what we see in bull markets is that lots of Bitcoin is coming into the exchange in accumulation periods. We've got the red here. It's flowing out from exchanges. So what that means is, of course, that we've only seen a little bit of Bitcoin coming into exchanges, whereas if you look at the previous bull cycle, the whole thing was green. So we haven't seen the level of exchange inflows we would expect. I don't think we've seen the top of the market, because if we had, there would have been a lot more exchange selling of BTC and a lot more inflows. So that's number one. Number two, we can actually see the Bitcoin exchange balance has been declining and coming back up. This is the Tether, the circulating supply, and the Tether amount locked in smart contracts. So you can actually see there's been an increase. Despite the fact that Bitcoin has been decreasing, Tether moving into smart contracts has been increasing. So this is a reflection of adoption of DeFi. The net position for Tether has been, it's been inflowing into exchanges. And when we see inflows into exchanges, we actually expect better times ahead. That's what this is expressing. We can actually go back. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so Tether is becoming more and more popular over this time. Number one, or number four, I guess. This is the one I was just talking about. So we've seen this kind of euphoria bubble. Actually, we haven't seen euphoria, but we have seen localized tops for short-term holders hit this green zone. We've not seen that. Let's take a look at the long-term. These are long-term holders. So we have seen euphoria for the long-term holders, but that's because these people have kind of been selling. So let's take also a look at the R-HODL ratio, because it's a beautiful chart. I love it, and it's something that's great. So I think what we need to try to quantify is, who is it exactly that's doing all this selling right now? So you can see, and I'll just zoom out before zooming back in. This chart has correctly called the top of every previous market cycle. And the interesting thing about this one is it actually accounts for the increased supply by weighting the ratio by the total market age. So a lot of the other charts that we look at, for example, HODL Waves BTC. This chart that I'm about to show you can be misleading. And I'll tell you why in just a second, after it loads. It's a little bit slow. Very slow. Oh, yeah. Okay, here we go. So what we're seeing here, this top purple, this is a reflection of this is the distribution of all the Bitcoin in circulation. So we can see over time, there's a general downward trend. So less and less of this circulating supply is this light color along the bottom. And that's simply a reflection of the fact that there is more and more Bitcoin being created. And some percentage of that Bitcoin has just been sitting there and hasn't actually been doing anything. So that, because there's lost Bitcoin, there's stolen devices, there's all kinds of people who had laptops that they forgot about and cold storage. So this chart ignores the fact. So if you were just to look at this chart, you could draw inferences that might be mistaken, because this chart only looks at the total supply of Bitcoin. In other words, Bitcoin that was lost many, many years ago, it still comes up here. So you may develop a false view that there's a net increase in long-term Bitcoin holding, whereas there's actually just a lot of BTC that's not in circulation and will never be in circulation because it's been lost or destroyed forever. So that's the weakness with that chart. When we go back to the R-HODL ratio, let's take a look. This chart accounts for the increased supply by weighting the ratio to the total market age. So in theory, what that would mean is that decay of data doesn't occur, which means that this takes into account the number of BTC in circulation at the time that the measurement is taken. So you see this red line, there's a ratio, right? That ratio is, it looks like a daily ratio. So that ratio takes into account the number of BTC. So that's the important thing to remember here. So this ratio has correctly called the top. You can see here, this black line is the price, and it's correctly called the top back in, what was it, 2011, $29. Imagine getting BTC at $29, it's selling. And it has, after that point, we reached the red line. So this is the R-HODL ratio, and the price collapses from 29 to $2. Imagine picking it up for $2 and thinking that selling at 29 was a bad idea. So then we actually go into the green zone, which is a reflection of things being oversold. This is usually a buying area. This is usually a selling area. Crucially, 2013, this number spikes, but we actually, and if you actually look at the level we get to, it's about where we got to. So the ratio is like 10,000. It's about where we get to on this side. See that? So it's almost the same. So we see a decline, obviously, from here. I think the price goes from 262 down to 60 or something like that. And then we see from 60, we shoot up to 1,000. So that's a big change. And then here we actually do get into the danger zone. So that's the 2013 cycle. 2017, we see the same thing. We see it, and we have had these little mini corrections. I mean, look at this. Just forget about the black for a minute. Look just at the orange. You've got, it shoots up to beyond 10,000. And I'm just talking about the ratio. I'm not talking about the price. So the R-HODL ratio at this point is 17,000. It shoots down to 11,000. So that's like a, what, 45% decline? So let's take a look at the proportional decline here. So 14,000 to 5,000. This is more than a 50% decline. In any event, all of the previous market tops, this is what I'm trying to say. The black line is the BTC price. All of the previous market tops, we get into the danger zone. And I mean, look, this is insanity. And this is a log chart as well, by the way. So this is 100 to 200. This is 100 to 1. So you can see here, it actually, getting into this level, it gets crazy. So we're not at the top. What this tells me here is that the whales, and by the way, this ratio is a relationship between the short-term hodlers who have been holding for 1 week and the long-term whales who have been holding for 1 to 2 years. So this vector of behavior analysis allows us to see what the whales are doing. And every friggin' time the market tops, every previous cycle, we get into the red zone. That hasn't happened here. So what this shows us is that it is short-term holders that are selling and that are out of the money in this point. So keep in mind, it's not the black line hitting the red. That's not the danger zone. It's the orange line hitting the red. That's the danger zone. So I would be looking to start selling BTC when we get into the danger zone, which it hasn't happened yet. So I'll pause there. I'm gonna have a sip of my drink. We've got some people who have just joined, so welcome. Let's do a quick round of introductions. So let's just say, you don't have to say your name, but you can just say where you're dialing in from. So obviously, I'm Hayden, hello. I'm from Alpha Impact, dialing in from the Alpha Impact offices, where I spend lots and lots of time. So just let me know in the comments where you're dialing in from. It can be country, continent. You don't have to tell me your address. Just let me know where you're dialing in from. I'm just gonna have a drink. And so let me know where you're dialing in from, and we can jump straight into the questions. I've been doing lots of talking. I want to give you guys a chance to turn the tables. We'll actually go back and we'll take a look at the charts as well during this time. So I'm still waiting. Let me know where you're dialing in from. Oops. Yeah, so we've got these support lines. So I'm just looking at BTC. We've got support. It's obviously been tested several times. We're expecting at some point it comes back up. It just has to. So we've got, we can actually redraw this line. Hello. From Laos, big fan. Impact free TA from Hayden. Woohoo, JA Bronx. Thank you for the kind words. I mean, I should say I'm not a licensed investment advisor, and you should not base investment decisions. Another line we could draw, we could actually draw it like somewhere around here. I'm not sure. I might be wrong. So don't take this as being fact yet. But if we did draw a line here, we'd actually see, yeah, so this line is a little bit crudely drawn, but what I would argue is that this is a different descending line. We've actually seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, you could call that the same one, but this is definitely 7. So we've seen on the upper end of this descending triangle or wedge, we've actually got 7 attempts to break out. And on the lower end, so let's get rid of this blue one. I stopped using blue because it's ugly AF. On the lower end, we've got, I mean, let's move this, right? Let's just make it a little more pessimistic. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's looking positive. I mean, we've got 7 kind of, we might call these flirting with the line, 7 tests of this upper range, and 5 of the lower. So on balance, it appears to be bullish. So obviously anything can happen for any reason in crypto, and I'm not a licensed investment advisor, so you should do your own research. But so there's two ways to think about this. The first way could be that by saying, you know, this is the wedge, and we've actually broken out, and let's see if we stay broken out. The other slightly more conservative way to look at it would be to say this whole thing has been a wedge, and we're still within this wedge, although I gotta say, it's not that compelling of a wedge if we're in it. Like if you ignore from about this point to the left, you would actually have nothing touching it. So this would have been a very poorly drawn wedge. So probably the more realistic assessment here is that this is our wedge. We've now broken out, and then the channel would be here. So we're still descending, but we'd be expecting at some point a sustained increase. So I don't know when it's going to come, but look, we're actually seeing more volume. You could see here the volume goes down. Another vector to look at is actually RSI. So let's hop in here and talk about RSI. By the way, for those just tuning in, my name is Hayden. I am the CEO and co-founder of Alpha Impact. We've got 2 of them. So there's something interesting on the RSI. Let's get rid of this one. And I want to go through, this is on the daily RSI, and it's an indicator that we've been watching. So you can actually see here, right? You've got a descending channel. Where would you draw the line? You can draw it here, right? So let's just say, apples or apples, we'll start it there. So the top on the daily is actually here, right? It's like way back in January when the market price was only 34K. And what we see is that the price is increasing. So we go to 58 and the RSI looks to be, 79? Then we go to the top, which is 64, and the RSI is actually 65. So this downward channel right here, you can only see on the daily. And it is, in my mind, an indication where you've got increasing prices but decreasing RSI, that the market is running out of steam. So let's go back and let's look at previous market cycles. This is what I wanted to look at. This is 2017. We saw a kind of similar phenomenon where the top, it's crazy because we have to change our scale, but the top of this RSI daily was, again, same thing. It was before, it wasn't at the top, it was at 16. We saw a massive decline. It was very, very quickly downwards. And then it kind of went sideways for a long time. So if you look on the weekly, you actually don't see this. When was this? 2014. See, on the weekly, the top kind of coincides nicely. So nothing crazy in there. And if you look at the weekly chart, my numbers or my wedges are totally off. Tom Jessup, I bet a lot of people are wishing they took more notice of that bearish divergence on the daily. I agree. It's craziness, but ultimately, I don't think. Where did we get to on the daily here? This is like 88 as a max. Let's go back to 2017 and take a look. I mean, this is just a reflection of, I mean, it looks crazy to look at this now, right? Like, you know, we're in a different scale now. It doesn't even 20K. It's like, oh, no big deal. Okay, so we got to 88 on the daily last time. Where are we here? So we got to, in that year, we've actually gone, so right at the start of the year, we went to 88. Then we get to, we do it again, 2, 3. So that's, by the time we get to 88 on the daily RSI, or sorry, by the time we get to the top of that market cycle, we've seen it 3 times. Let's see how many times we see it here. Only once. Only once. So you can see 2017, we kind of, we bump into that number quite a lot. Let's just make it, try to make it as accurate as we can here. So that's the top. I'm just gonna hold my cursor. See that in 2017, we've got between 2016, which you can see in the bottom left hand, it looks like 1/3 of my screen, and 2018, you actually see an increasing number that try to get to that level. So let's just look at here. This looks like a, so in the 2017 market, we've got 3 definite breaches of that. And in this market, we've got, what is it? Only 2. And it looks like we have some flirting with the line. So that's just my impromptu technical analysis. I'm gonna go back to the channel. I've been spending a long time away. Hide. Okay, we're here. Tom, it's interesting that it shows on the weekly too this time around. By accurate, I mean bullish. Well, we're pretty bullish. I mean, I've gone through the on-chain stuff that that we've been looking at very closely. So I hope that makes sense. I know we have a lot of people in the channel who are, you know, kind of thinking about this very closely. We don't think we're at the top of the market. I certainly wouldn't think that BTC at 34K is a time to sell. I mean, we're clearly trading. It's kind of trading sideways, right? We're in this like weird, in this weird kind of zone where it's kind of trending down, but also we're kind of just trending sideways. So at a very high level, I would be very surprised if this were the top. That doesn't mean it couldn't be the top. It doesn't mean you should base your investment decisions on this, but I think it's just something to keep in mind. So I'll pause there. Let me have a sip of my drink. Let me know if any questions, comments, cries of anguish, or anything you want me to talk about. We can also go to, by the way, we didn't get very far with the introductions. So J.A. Bronx, Laos, big fan. Good to see you, my friend. Shall we introduce ourselves? Sino Byte OffSec. Check out my channel, my stream, try Hack Me Labs and pen testing. It doesn't sound like that exciting of a channel. It actually sounds like a very boring channel to watch. But thank you, Sino Byte OffSec. That was someone from Twitch. So thank you for your comment. Tom, South Korea, lovely to see you. Annyeonghaseyo. And for those just joining, my name is Hayden. I am the co-founder, CEO of Alpha Impact. Maybe we should look at CoinMarketCap together. Okay, let's go back. So Ethereum looking strong. I'm almost a buyer at these levels, not quite, but we'll see. Yeah, it's green. We're finally seeing some green in the markets. ICP Definity coming back nicely. It looks like, I mean, it looks like we're in a bull market. So comp, wow, 19%. ZRX 11, that's 12%. Sia Coin 11%. So you know, there's some room for green in the market. We're feeling positive. Let's take a look at CoinGecko. I mean, CoinGecko has a kind of a more DeFi friendly. They're definitely ahead in terms of DeFi. I guess CoinMarketCap is trying to catch up. So yeah, this is the same, obviously wrapped Bitcoin. It's always funny to see. Ethereum Classic doesn't want to die. even though it probably should. It gets 51% attacked like all the time. Yeah, so we're doing well. All right, I'll come back to the channel. Hide on the stream. Are you worried that despite this green in the market on the whole, the upcoming token release will significantly depress the price of Impact? Well, our investors bought, and they understand that that we're building this over the long run. So we're very confident that when we release our product and have token demand, that's going to be positive for the ecosystem. So I don't think that our investors, I mean, we got rid of some investors because we thought they were going to sell. So, and they were just the wrong partners for us. So we refunded someone because we didn't think that they had our best interest in mind. So we're always happy to have that conversation with our investors. And for those that maybe are not aware, we changed our vesting term for the private sale. That's what Tom's referring to here, to create a framework that created effectively a delay. And so we got 30 days from launch where private sale investors were going to be locked up. And so we had some investors saying that was not cool, and we gave all those people refunds. And then we actually went further than that, and we said to one or two of our other investors, we are offering you a refund, please take it. So that was actually I guess a situation that we, in our minds, got rid of a lot of the kind of weak hands. We're also going to be going out to our private sale investors over the next few days, a week, and touching base, talking about some stuff that we've got lined up for those guys. So we're going to be making an offer to them that we feel, and I wouldn't say it's an offer they can't refuse. They can refuse, but an offer we think that that they're going to take. So many projects make their best gains on the anticipation of their platform dropping. Yeah, you're telling me. I mean, we're very firmly in that camp ourselves, and obviously this stuff takes time to build. So in our minds, it's just, you can't do it quickly, you can't rush it, you can't have bugs. So we want to launch a product that's going to work for everyone and change crypto trading. The utility of our token is very clear, and we're going to be releasing a diagram later in the week that kind of talks about this. But our customers will gain access to vetted top traders, and so that's going to be the focus for us moving forward. So, great questions, Tom. It's kind of great to see your crazy enthusiasm. Tom, are you a member of the Minted channel or community? Buy the rumor, sell the news. Buy the beta, sell the mainnet. Well, we certainly are counting on our customers buying the token. So it doesn't actually matter about mainnet, but in any event. Fantastic. Well, guys, I'd love to open the floor to questions. If there's no questions, we might wrap it up. So just let me know, J.A. Bronx, Tom, anyone else in the channel, if you have any questions for us, just let us know. Otherwise, I guess we're doing this every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So that's it. 3 days, it's never changing. It's always the same time. And we're very excited to be here. So let us know if you have any questions. Always keen to have a chat. And if not, we'll close things off. Oh, Minted is a Korean community in Korea that we have been working with. Tom, that was the reference. Fantastic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, unless there's any urgent questions, then let us know in the comments. If there's not, we'll put a pause on for tonight. Finally attracting, now you have to find them. Tom, we're happy to have you. You've already found us. You don't need to keep searching. So thank you for everyone who's joined us. Let me know if you have any questions at all. We have moved our AMA timing. So for those that are just tuning in, our AMAs start at 12 p.m. UTC 8 p.m. Hong Kong, Singapore, and 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, fantastic. All right. Well, thanks, guys. I'm going to be signing off here. So it's lovely to have you with us. Namaste. Remember, don't just trade crypto, trade with impact. We'll see you on Wednesday, same time, 12 p.m. UTC. Have a great night, everyone.